All right, so get started. We're just going to draw a simple landscape. You can figure if you want it mostly sky down here or less sky. I'm going to go in between, or it could be vertical, it could be horizontal. I'm going to do horizontal, and I'm just going to figure like maybe there's a road coming here, going like this. Right? Can you see that? From like here, and then I'll have like the landmass coming here and here. Could be trees in here, etc. Simple road, kind of curving, going off. You can't really see it that well. Grab my little eraser here. Curve. There. All right. Simple like that. And then we're going to just get a sea sponge or any kind of sponge you have. And we're going to do this technique where it's super wet, stays wet longer, right? We're going to get water on this, squeeze it out. We're going to wet the back. And by the way, I'm using like just this, it's a portable plein air easel, and it's basically plastic. So if you have glass or just kind of like a table that has something that's laminated, that would work. A cutting board, something like that, and I flip it over and it kind of sticks immediately. I think I have to get it maybe wetter if it didn't stick. If it's not sticking, get this more wet in the back. Okay, now it sticks pretty good. And then you're going to wet the front. And it's going to stay wet on wet for a while. And then it will dry flat. So if you just leave it and let it dry naturally, it will dry flat. No need for stretching. It's like pretty simple. I've done this many times. So now I've got that. Let's just pick some kind of simple painting here for a sky. I'm going to lift it up too, by the way. I'm going to loosen up some ultramarine blue deep. Maybe a little bit of the burnt sienna mixed in with that. Like a grayish sky for the soon-to-be fall. I'm just going to put a swipe on the top, leaving a little space in between for some clouds. And coming all the way down here. If you want a little bit deeper and darker, see I left a little white spaces. Put some clouds kind of shining through. Maybe I'll go in a little bit more in here. And I'll get a little bit deeper, a thicker paint. The same two colors, a little bit thicker. Kind of play with adding in some depth. A little darker in here. Ooh, stormy clouds. Using the 12 Neptune round from Princeton. And now we got some stormy clouds. If I wanted to kind of like a line, if I want to just kind of fill that in a little bit so it doesn't look like a line. And go up in here and then add a few little linear ones on the bottom. As the clouds go down the horizon, they get more linear. I'm going to lift this up a little bit. And bleed a little more blue. It should be lighter when it goes down. So I'm just going to kind of lift the color. Clean off my brush. Get some water and lift it. It will kind of blend as it goes down. There's my stormy clouds. Right? I got a few bit more blue happening here. I'm kind of doing like a circular tippy tap. Just adding a little bit more depth in here on these ones. Up top and in the middle. There. All right, so for the this whole landmass, let's get some Prussian blue, cadmium yellow deep, right? And a little burnt umber. I'm going to start to swipe in some green. Just really simple here. Leave the road. We can kind of play with the road too. We can just add some burnt sienna, water it down. Just kind of flow in the road. Just that color. It's a nice color to it. I'm going to add this green in here. I'm going to get some deeper colors in this green too. You can grab some of that burnt sienna, mix it in with that green. I'm just going to add some more Prussian blue. A little bit deeper and darker. Same thing here. This little mound kind of coming in here. Look at that. Now we're going to grab some lighter color again, some yellow. Mix it up in this little bit area here. Hitting the road a little bit. And then I'm going to grab some water and just kind of fill it in with this yellow color down in here. See, the paper is still damp. It's great. We can work with this, right? Look at that. What a nice dark color. If you don't want it so dark, you can add a little bit more yellow in there. It's a little, making little fuzzy trees, because if you don't want to do that, make the paint a little thicker. So here's the Prussian blue, the cadmium yellow deep, and the burnt umber, and it's really thick, so it won't move as much. Deep. It can start to make a little fuzzy. I'm gonna get a little bit darker here. Little mounds, like a shadow coming in there. Cleaning off my brush. I'm gonna just take a little bit of that color. It got a little too dark. Gonna bring it down in here and in here. There. I'm already liking this. This part is bothering me a little bit, this darkness in here. So we're just gonna lift it a little bit. Don't want to do too much. Work your paper. There. That looks perfect. Look at that. Simple, right? We're gonna go grab, I'm gonna move some of this lovely green stuff. And let's get to the road. Burnt sienna, ultramarine blue deep. And we get more of a brown tone. Let's start to play with adding some of that in there. And this road. It's a little bit deeper colors for that road. Still very damp. I'm gonna get a little thicker with those two colors. Burnt sienna and ultramarine blue deep. Still using the 12 brush. I'm gonna go back in this road. Get a little bit darker. Brown country road. Going in there. Okay. We're gonna let that sit for a bit. At this point, we can take a small brush. This is number 8 long round. And this is those greens we had that are kind of thick. You can start to play with moving your brush upward, making some lovely grasses. Now, if it's thick, it won't bleed as much. If it's not, it will bleed a lot. You just do a few of these really tall ones in here in the front. Even go on that front of your plastic board, whatever you're sticking on. And we don't want soldiers going straight like this. We want to mix them where they're like crossing over and up and down. I'm getting a little bit darker now, see? Crisscrossing and going back and forth, because grasses will not look like soldiers. Could add a little more brown. So like this, your hand moving like this and like this. Get some light ones up here. Now, of course, back here. Play with some of these. You want some brown tones in there too, not just green. So I'm going to get some burnt sienna here. Brown. Happening. Ooh, that's a big brown one. You never know what happens with your brush. That might be a little too much. Can I remove it? Let's play with that a little bit. I could lighten it up a bit by lifting it. Don't want to do too much of that. It's forgiving me. Look at that. Browns going in here. And also, it's still damp. We can do a little bit scraping with our credit card. I'm going to take that brown and kind of go in this road a little bit. Back here. Get a little bit darker. It's damp, but it's drying, so It's going to hold the paint a little better and not move as much. See, I did a little dark on that side. I'm going to go and add the road. Look at that. The road less traveled. You can grab some of this brown and kind of go over here. The darker green, we can make a tree kind of happening. Kind of see, I'm just kind of wiggling, and then just kind of wiggling the side of my brush like this. Get like a tree going on in here. Maybe a smaller one here. Right? Add a little bit more yellow and some burnt sienna. It could be starting to change color. This one already made like a nice tree bush on this side. Look at that. Gonna add some yellow in here. Change it up. Grasses, again, from here out. Little lines and some grasses. Want some variety of color happening. The green coming down to the road. This is the 8 long run still. That. Fun, fun, fun. So, it's so damp. You could take a credit card and you could do a little scraping for some grasses. It shouldn't fold too much in there because it's already kind of drying. You can do a little credit card back here for a tree. Look at that. You got your trees back there. But here, depending on how big your credit card is, nice big scratches of grass. Don't do too many of them. Look a little too crazy, right? Now, we will do more grasses. It does look kind of like goofy here. I'm gonna grab a little bit more, go in the front, and maybe some browns. It's starting to dry now, so you can get some really kind of definition in the grass. Right? Because the grass is in front of us, the field's over here, there's some grasses over here. We're making this up, by the way. We're just pretending that we see the road this way. And maybe some grasses kind of up over here. Another thing we do is take this color that I love, cadmium red light. Or you can even use like a permanent red or something like that. So, cadmium red light, right out of the tube. There's some green in here, it's making it brown. I'm gonna have to remove that. Oh, it's still damp. We could pretend there's like red poppies here. See how damp it is? You're just tapping the color. Oh, and it bleeds a little bit. You just add a teeny bit of water, not too much. Look at that. Same thing on this side. Look at that. Do tiny ones and bigger ones. You don't want all of them to be soldier flowers, right? Now, grab the yellow right out of the tube. You can mix it with that color. Now you've got orange. Look at that. It's a fallish kind of wildflower field. So yellow-orange kind of flowers happening. You can do teeny weeny ones back here, just tip-tap. So this one's going back here. But then we have some in the foreground. Grabbing more yellow. Look at that, look how great that is. It just does a great job just dissipating because it's still damp. And again, you can make some bigger ones in the front. Now these are like yellow-orange. We can make some bright, bright yellow ones too. If you do want to splatter it, I suggest cover your lovely sky. So cover the sky. We'll grab some nice yellow from the tube. I've got some bright yellow right here. Water it down a little bit. Want it bright yellow. And you can go. Look at that. If it's super wet, it will be more translucent. But look how pretty. And you can do the same thing, obviously, mixing the orange color with the red. Smaller down the front. Look at those little teeny ones. Love. Isn't that great? You know what's kind of cool? Let's try a little blue here. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Ultramarine blue deep. I'm throwing that in there. Look how cool. You can add a little burnt sienna to that. Just little teeny taps. Get all your aggression out. Oops, sorry. But look how cool this looks. The blue in between the two. Get a little brown in there. This is the burnt sienna. I'm really going to town. And it's just creating this really cool look. Can you see how cool this is? It's very cool. Again, burnt sienna. Up in here in the field. If you want to put some green in there. So, got some nice little green. It's a little too bright. Green in the field. Remember, you have to cover that sky. Just love how it looks. Now I've got a little bit of my sky back here, but look at that. So I can get a little bit of water and I can just kind of mush, make a little landmass back here. You won't even see those little dots that kind of got wrecked. Right? Watering this down a little bit more. So it's like a little mountain back here. Up in the distance. From a distance. Right? No one knows. Looks pretty cool here. The road can get even darker, so I've got the burnt sienna and ultramarine blue deep. Water that down and get the road a little more defined. I might have to go in between some of my flowers, but you'll see the road now. See that? A little darker. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. It was a little too dark back here. But there's my road that we lost. Add some of that brown in between some of the flowers and keep the definition on the left-hand side for the road. Look at that. So cool. Really took minimal effort. I love the front of this. You know? And we've got these back mountains. When it dries, you can add another layer of color. If we've lost some of our lovely blooms, again, just take right out of the tube and you can go tap bright yellow right on top of these guys. It's a watercolor. It's just right out of the tube. This is where the fun happens. And of course, the cadmium red light, one of my favorite colors. We've lost some of it because it dissipated, and you can go back in and you just fill it in. The blue is great because some of it went right in the middle of it, so it looks like poppies. And if you lost some of the red, you can just go in here and fill it in. And lost a little bit. Again, with the orange too, you can do the same thing. I just love it. And I wonder if you could, lost some of the white over here, but you just scrape. Has a nice look. Look at that. Just so much fun. Like I said, it stays wet longer. You can have so much fun with this. You try and play with your watercolor. It's this cool fall field of fun. You gotta have fun. That's the name of the game. Remember that blue? I love the ultramarine blue. I'm going to tap some of that color here and like right in the center of some of those reds. So it looks like poppies, but you get that ultramarine blue. It's just unexpected and it adds so much. It just really does. If you fill it in, you know, you splattered it and then you can see how unexpected that color really just changed it so much. I love it, like over in here. Wasn't this fun? It needs to be fun. You need to have fun. So kind of like a fall field. I did lose a little bit of my color here, so I'll water down some green, brownish green. Let's see if we can get some of that in here. Go around my blooms if I can. We did lose a lot of it. It dried, it was super light. And now we gotta have green back. Same thing on the other side. Just kind of go around your blooms a little bit. I'm just tapping color around it. It's kind of like that beginning fall wildflower field. Really kind of pretty, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed it. It didn't take any time. It was super cool. Lots of fun. The name of the game here, people, is having some joy in your life. Joy is that's everything. We're not put on this earth to be miserable, are we? No. Let's have some joy. And so I hope you had some joy doing this. The splattering is the fun. The wet on wet. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Really, people, just have fun. Have some joy. Don't stress about it. That's what it's all about, having fun. This didn't take much time at all. And you created something really cool, right? The sky, then just splattering in this. I mean, if I just cut off this whole section, I love this. And if it dries up a little bit more, I can go and just enhance the road. See, I'm going to put a little color around here. So you see the road more. Give it some more definition, which is kind of nice. You know, what's down that road? Is there an apple picking farm? Is there a pumpkin farm? Who knows? Something to figure out, right? All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you love my content here on YouTube, maybe consider joining my Patreon where you support my channel. You can click the link in the description box. We have lots of fun. We do exclusive tutorials, extra tutorials. We have a Facebook group. You know, Patreons members get first dibs on watercolor workshops and retreats that I host. And yeah, it's just a way to support me, which I really appreciate. So thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Please don't forget to hit all notifications when you hit the notification button so you know my tutorial is up. So happy painting. Have some fun. It's all about the joy.